There comes a moment in life, usually not when everything is going well, but when everything feels like it's falling apart. When you sit alone in the quiet and realize that your mind has become too heavy to carry by yourself. And in that moment, whether you admit it or not, whether you grew up religious or not, whether you think you're spiritual or not, you start searching for something, anything that can hold the weight you can't hold anymore. And that search often leads toward one of the most misunderstood human experiences of all: faith. Not as a religion, not as a rulebook, but as a psychological lifeline that stretches beyond the limits of your own strength. You see, most people think faith is about believing in something you can't prove. But the truth is much deeper. Because psychologically, faith is about creating a sense of meaning, direction, and stability in a world that constantly reminds you of how little control you actually have, and whether that sense of meaning comes from God, the universe, destiny, energy, intuition, or some higher intelligence doesn't matter nearly as much as the psychological function it serves. Anchoring your mind to something bigger than your pain, bigger than your fear, bigger than your loneliness, and bigger than the chaos of your daily life. What most people don't realize is that the human brain is not built to operate in complete uncertainty. Our nervous system needs a sense of orientation, a sense that we are moving toward something instead of floating in emptiness. And when life becomes unpredictable, when suffering hits without warning, when the future feels like a dark hallway with no visible exit, faith becomes a stabilizing force that tells your brain, there is something beyond this moment, and that quiet belief can regulate your emotions in ways most people underestimate. Faith reduces anxiety because it gives the mind a narrative. Faith strengthens resilience because it gives suffering a purpose. Faith increases courage because it makes you feel guided instead of abandoned. Faith fuels healing because it makes growth feel possible again. And this is why people who believe in something bigger, regardless of what that something is, tend to recover faster, endure more, bounce back stronger, and handle adversity with deeper emotional clarity. Because when you believe you're not facing life alone, your brain stops spiraling into fear-based thinking and begins operating from a place of trust, which changes everything from your emotional stability to your decision-making, to your ability to stay grounded in overwhelming moments. But here's the part most people never talk about. Faith is not always born from wisdom. Sometimes it is born from pain. The strongest believers are often people who have been brought to their knees. People who have tasted heartbreak so deep that logic alone couldn't save them. People who needed something greater than human reassurance, something deeper than motivational quotes, something more real than temporary distractions. People who needed a connection to the unseen because the visible world offered them no comfort at all. And that doesn't make them weak. It makes them human. Because faith is not a fantasy. It's a psychological adaptation. A survival mechanism that activates when the weight of living becomes too heavy for the ego to carry alone. When you need to feel supported by something beyond your own limited strength. When you need to trust that there is meaning behind the madness, even if you can't see it yet. The truth is, faith doesn't remove pain, but it transforms it. Faith doesn't erase fear, but it gives fear somewhere to rest. Faith doesn't eliminate uncertainty, but it turns uncertainty into possibility. And the most powerful form of faith isn't blind obedience, it's surrender, the quiet. Acceptance that you don't have to control everything. That you don't need all the answers right now, that you can let life unfold without gripping it so tightly that you break yourself in the process. Because believing in something bigger doesn't make you delusional, it makes you emotionally intelligent enough to understand that the human heart needs hope the way the body needs air. And sometimes hope doesn't come from what you see, but from what you choose to believe in anyway. And maybe that's why, throughout history, through every culture, every era, every civilization, humans have always reached for the divine in one form or another, not because we are weak, but because something deep inside us knows that life is too complex, too strange, too mysterious, too painful, too beautiful, too unpredictable to navigate alone. And when you finally allow yourself to believe, not blindly, not out of fear, but out of trust, you begin to feel something shift inside you. Your anxiety loosens its grip. Your mind becomes just a little more peaceful. Your heart feels just a little less alone, and your life begins to feel guided rather than random, supported rather than chaotic, meaningful rather than empty. Because faith doesn't make you stronger by giving you control. It makes you stronger by relieving you of the illusion that you ever needed to control everything in the first place. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, press the thumbs up and share it with others. It helps spread the message of inner peace and self-discovery. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this.